one crucial mistake that most of the Web3 projects are making. I saw thousands of the pitch decks, we've launched hundreds of projects in the Web3, and this mistake is pretty much relies in an effort to find a new liquidity, right? And once the market is on the ball right now, everybody's sort of safe and sound, and people are too greedy. And the founders of the Web3 project, they think, what if we, without the community, without any product market fit, without any firm argumentation of the power of our narrative, would go to the platforms, let's say it's going to be the launchpads or the centralized exchanges or DEX pools, right? And in effort to find a new liquidity there, we will just list our token in the pair, or without the pair, just to USDT on the DEX and so forth. And they go and actually, without any support of the potential buying pressure that can and might go to their projects, they started to make a listing process. And guess what, guys? In this case, when the community is pretty much zero, where the marketing not super clear, not super transparent in terms of messaging, where you are not hustling and bustling around the space, which is super important because most of the Web3 projects right now, they pretty much rely on the hype that they are able to generate, because without the hype, guess what? It's hard to maintain the buying pressure coming to you. So this big mistake can be highlighted as a don't go and list on platforms relying on their traffic, relying on their buying pressure, relying on something from the third party, unless you create your own sources of belief, of hype, of hope, which can be the community, which can be the whatever, guys, you do with your marketing. Just hear me out. It doesn't work in this way. Nobody gonna take you, your project, your digital asset without even support, without even narrative that you can potentially bring alongside the audience, because that will cost you 10 times higher. Like let's take for example the exchange. If I launch the token Vlad, I am nobody, not nobody in my community. Also, I have nothing to do with my narrative. I don't know how it works, and then I would love to get some liquidity because market is pretty much green right now. So it's important for me to go somewhere and not lose the momentum, right? And I'm doing in this case actually. I'm knocking out the door of the Texas or the potential launchpad and saying, you know what, guys, I would love to raise $500,000 because I need development, blah, 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 blah. Get me please in. I want to list there. And those dudes just, okay, we're on the bull market right now. What if we can allow this man with the pretty much broke project go inside? Okay, but that potentially can a little bit ruin our reputation because the project is absolutely zero. Maybe it's a scam, who knows? Maybe this founder full of shit and eventually doesn't work for us to even consider him. Let's do 10x price. If he will buy the hint, we will eventually list him out, right? And that's how lots of money is being overpaid in the promise of do what? Of raise additional millions of dollars, and then story never ends, right? Because once the founder or the chief executive, whatever guys you are in the corporate structure, you pay 10x from the market price to list your zero project, zero coin that's supported by nobody, that is known by no one, that is actually needed by also no one because it's no utility, it's no value. When you're going to get listed there, all of a sudden, turns out, without your own community and your own buying pressure you have created because of incentives, because of belief, because of hope, because of a variety of things in the Web3 marketing. We've been talking about them recently and we will be talking about them in the future, that's for sure. But keep that in mind. So without your own sources of funding the projects during the public rounds, you are absolutely doomed, my friend. Because it's not how the business works, right? You cannot rely on exchanges and an effort. Okay, if I would list on Binance, they would bring me the world-known awareness. They would bring me millions of dollars to my project. They can empower, but unless you are one, you cannot be multiplied. You know what I mean? Hear me out this properly, because if you are zero, it doesn't matter, which number gonna be your multiplier, because eventually it's gonna be zero in the end. Just, hear me out. This concept is pretty important. So don't do this mistake. Build from the scratch the community. understand how to deliver the value, understand how to increase up your perceived value, and do something about your sentiment. Do something about this internally without relying on somebody else, your neighbor, your mom, your brother. I mean, this is like a broken concept when you're trying to blame somebody because your project have failed or because you need the help. You need to think, you need to build, you need to empower, you need to multiply, you need to surround, and then you need to deliver the use case, which is the narrative, which is the story, which particularly plays a huge role in a way of selling the idea of investing in your project. So first, creating demand and setting up the distribution beforehand, and afterwards scaling and sizing these to being launched, listed on a variety of platforms that we have right now. But don't do this until you went from 0 to 1, from 0 to hero, whatever you prefer, guys. Don't do this if you are broke. That doesn't help you. I saw tons of millions of dollars being overpaid for those services by the third-party publications, and guess what? They have never paid out. That's a wrap for this session, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, Cryptorsy.io. We are covering the path for the Web3 builders to become a huge viral rock stars that can be the next big tech companies of tomorrow. It was Vlad, CEO and founder of Cryptorsy. I'll see you guys in the next one.